Do you think we will make contact with aliens within the next 15 years? Well, that's a really tough one to say. If there are super intelligent aliens out there, they are probably already observing us. That's quite likely, and we are not smart enough to realize it. But I can do some back of the envelope calculations, and any advanced alien civilization that is all interested in populating the galaxy, even without exceeding the speed of light, even if you are only moving at say 10 or 20% of the speed of light, you could populate the entire galaxy in 10 million years, maybe 20 million years max. There is nothing the grand dream of things. When you said that you wanted to die in Mars, why? To be clear, I don't want to die on Mars. It's like if we are gonna die someday, if you are gonna pick some place to die, then why not Mars? You know, if you were born on Earth, why not die on Mars? Seem like be quite exciting. But I think given the choice between dying on Earth and dying on Mars, I say yeah, sure, I will die on Mars. But it's not some kind of Mars that I wish. And if I do on Mars, I just don't want to go on impact. Let's come back to Earth actually. You tweet that you are building a tunnel under Washington DC. Why? What is this? It's a secret plot. Okay? Just between us. Nobody helps you? Yeah, exactly. Let's keep it a secret. I think this is gonna sound a little. I mean, it seems like so much trivial or silly, but I've been saying for this many years but now, but I think that for the solution of urban congestion is a network of tunnels and cities. And when I say I don't mean a 2D plane of tunnels, I mean tunnel that go many level depth. So you can always go deeper than you can go up. Like the deepest mines are the deeper than the tallest buildings. So you can have a, a network of tunnels that in 20, 30, 40, 50 levels, as many levels as you want, really. And so given that, you can overcome the constriction situation in any city in the world. The challenges is how do you build tunnels quickly and at low cost and with high safety. So if tunnel technology can be improved to the point where you can build tunnels fast, cheap, and safe, then that would completely get rid of any traffic situations in the cities. And I think that was I think it's important technology. And Washington DC, LA, and most of the major American cities, most of major cities in the world suffer from severe traffic issues. And it's mostly because you have got these buildings which are the tall buildings that are 3D and you have a road network that's at one level. And then people generally want to go in and out of this building at the extra same time. So you get a traffic jam. Let's come back to your year in Dubai. The first time I met you, it was the 4th of June 2015. Your office in SpaceX. And I asked you, would you have a presence in UAE? And your answer was, I'm busy with China, maybe not in the near future. And almost a year and a half later, we are here. Same time goes quite fast. Why now? I think actually things are going really well in China. So I have some initial challenges figuring out sharing and resolving infrastructure and various other things, but now it's actually going very well, and so the timing seems to be good, and really make a significant debut in the region, starting in Dubai. In your opinion, what is the new disturbing things that will come the next in technology? What the next in technology that will disturb the way we live, the way we think, the way we do business? Well, the most needs to impact from the technological standpoint is autonomous cars, like fully self-driving cars. As I said, gonna be happen much faster than people realize. So it's gonna be a great convenience to be an autonomous car. But there are many people who job is to drive. So if in fact, I think it may be the single largest employer of people is driving various forms. And so then we need to figure out new rules for what do these people do. It will be all very disruptive and very quick. I should clarify what I mean by quick because there are quick means different things to different people. There are about 2 billion vehicles in the world, approaching in fact 2.5 billion cars and trucks in the world. The total new vehicle production capacity is about 100 million, which makes sense because the life of car of truck before final scrap is about 20-25 years. So the point at which we see full autonomy appear will not be the point at which there are massive society upheaval because it will take a long time to make enough autonomous vehicles to disrupt employment. So that disruption I'm talking about will take place over about 20 years. Still, 20 years is a short period of time to have, I think, something like 12 to 15% of the workforce to be unemployed. Thank you. This is the largest global government summit we have. Over 139 government here. If you want to advise government officials to be ready for the future, what three pieces of advice can you give them? Well, I think the first bit of advice is to really place close attention to the development of artificial intelligence. I think we need to be just very careful in how we adopt artificial intelligence and to make sure that researchers don't get carried away, because sometimes that happens is the scientists can get so engrossed in the work they don't necessarily realize the ramification of what they're doing. So it's important for public safety that governments keep close eyes on artificial intelligence and make sure that it doesn't represent a danger to public. And let's see, secondly, I would say we do need to think about transport in general, and there's the movement towards electric vehicles, sustainable transport, and I think that's going to be good for many reasons. But again, not something happens immediately. That's going to happen slowly than the self-driving vehicles, because it probably is something that happens over 30 or 40 years. The transition is to electric vehicles. So thinking about that context, demand for electricity will increase dramatically. So currently, in terms of total energy usage in the world, it's about one third. It's about one third transport, about one third heating. So over time, that will transition to almost all, not all, but predominantly electricity, which means that the demand for electricity will probably triple. So it's going to be very important to think about how you make so much more electricity, and it seems they have easy job. That's it. There are no more challenging for them. No, well, I think maybe these things plays in each other a little bit. But what to do about mass unemployment? It's going to be a massive social challenge. And I think ultimately we'll have to have some kind of universal basic income. I don't think we'll go have a choice. Universal basic income. I think it's going to be necessary. So it means unemployed people will be paid across the globe. Yeah, because there are no jobs. Machine robots taking over. There are fewer and fewer jobs that a robot cannot do better. That's simply, and I want to be clear, these are not things that I think that wish would happen. These are simply things that I think probably will happen. And so, if my assessment is correct and they probably will happen, then we need to say what we're going to do about it. And I think some kind of universal basic income is going to be necessary. Now, the output of goods and service will be extremely high. So with automation, there will become back abundance. There will be almost everything will get very cheap. I think the biggest, we- I think we will just end up doing a universal basic income. It's gonna be necessary. The harder challenge, much harder challenge, is how do people then having meaning? A lot of people they derive their meaning from their unemployment. So if you don't have, if you're not needed, if there's not a need for your labor, how do you? What's the meaning? Do you have meaning? Do you feel useless? It's a much harder problem to deal with. And then how do we ensure that future is gonna be the future we want? That is so like, you know. I do think that is a potential path here, which is I'm really getting into science fiction or some of advanced science stuff, but having some of sort of merger with biological intelligence and machine intelligence. To some degree, we are already cyborg. You think of like the digital tools that you have, your phone, your computer, the application that you have, like the fact that, as I mentioned earlier, you can ask a question and instantly get an answer from Google or from other things. And and so you already have digital totally layer. I say totally because you can think of the limbic system, kind of animal brain, the primal brain that then correct kind of thinking, planning of the brain, and your digital self is the third layer. So you already have that. I think of if somebody dies, the digital ghost is still around. If their email and the picture that they post and their social media that still lives, then even they die. Over time, I think we'll probably see a closer merger of biological intelligence and digital intelligence, and mostly about a bandwidth, the speed of connection between your brain and your digital and the digital intelligence of yourself, particularly output. And if anything gets worse, you know, we used to have keyboard that we use a lot, and we do most of input through our thumbs on the phone, and they're just very slow. A computer can communicate a trillion bits per second, but your thumb can maybe do maybe 10 bits per second or 100 if you are being generous. So some high bandwidth interface to the brain I think will be something that helps achieve symbiosis between human and machine intelligence and maybe solves the control problem and the usefulness problem. I'm getting really esoteric here. I don't know. It's close. We got it. Always you think out of the box. Your ideas are so huge. You want to go to space. You decided to go to space. You did it. You decided that you want to land your rocket back. You failed 7 times, 8 times. Yes, something like that. Then it launched it. How do you come with these ideas? Sometimes they are pushing down human limits. You are always pushing the human limit. Why? Well, I think about what technology solution is necessary in order to achieve particular goal, and then try to make as much process in that direction as possible. So in this case, spaceflight, the critical breakthrough that's necessary is spaceflight. In rapid income, the rocket, it just we have is aircraft. You can imagine that if an aircraft was a single use, almost no one would fly because you can buy like 747, maybe $20-50 million, $300 million, something like that. And but no one will usually pay millions of dollars for a ticket to fly to do air travel. So, but because you can reuse that aircraft tens of thousands of times, air travel becomes much more affordable. And the same is true rockets. Our rockets costs is $60 million roughly. So a capital cost, if it can be used once, is $60 million. But if a capital cost, if it can be used a thousand of times, is $60,000. So then you can carry a lot of people for a flight. Then you can get the cost of space flights to be something not far from the cost of air flight. So it's truly fundamental because Earth's gravity is quite deep. Earth has fairly high gravity. The difficulty is making a rocket reusable is much greater than the difficulty of making aircraft reusable. That's why fully reusable rocket hasn't been developed that far. If you use the most advanced materials, the most advanced design techniques, and you get everything just right, then I'm confident that you can do a fully reusable rocket. Fortunately, if Earth's gravity was even 10% stronger, I would say it wouldn't be impossible. You need a team around you deliver a lot of ideas. How do you choose your team? Based on what? Well, I suppose honestly that it tends to be a gut feeling more than anything else. So when I interview somebody, the main questions are always the same. What you ask? I said, tell me the story of your life and the decisions that you make along the way, and also tell me about the most difficult problem you worked on and how you solved them. And that question I think very important because the people that really solved the problem, they know exactly how they solved it. They know the little detail, and people that pretended to solve the problem, they can maybe go one level and then they get stuck. So, what was your biggest challenge in life? Biggest challenge in life? No challenge. Well, no, there's a lot of them. I'm trying to solve which the worst. I think it's just about how to spend time. One of the biggest challenge I think is making sure you have a corrective feedback loop and maintaining that corrective feedback loop over time, even when people won't tell you exactly what you want to hear. That's very difficult. Yes. Time is over. I will ask you just one last question, if you allow me. In the world government summit, we have so many people from so many people actually from across the globe. If you have an advice to them, young people globally, you want to be like Elon Musk, what's your advice to them? I think that probably they shouldn't want to be you. I think it's all better than it is. Yeah, it's not as much fun being me as you think. I don't know. You don't think so? It could be yours worse for sure, but it's. I'm not sure I want to be me. I think my advice is if you want to make progress in things, I think that the best analytical framework for outside the future in physics, I recommend studying the thinking process around physics. Like not just the equation for it certainly have very helpful, but the way of thinking in physics is the best framework for understanding things that are counterintuitive and always be take precision that you take some degree wrong and your goal is less wrong over time. One of the biggest mistakes we will generally make is I'm guilty of if it's to wishful thinking, like you want something to be true even if it's true, so you ignore the things that you ignore the real true because of what you want to be true. It's a very difficult trap to avoid, and it's like I said, it's certain one that I find myself in having problems with. But if you just take approach of that you'll always do some degree wrong and you're going to be less wrong. Solicit critical feedback, particularly from parents. Like friends, if someone loves you, they will want the best for you. They don't want to tell you the bad things. So you have to ask them and say, they do really want you to know, and they really tell you. Thank you very much. It's been it's a great for the world government summit to have a legend who will create a future for humanity, to share his thoughts, his ideas, his visions, his challenges, and his hope for life. Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.